Welcome, everybody. We are just days away from the election, and the hijinks are in full swing. We now have widespread claims from Trump and people around him that there is already fraud taking place in Pennsylvania. We talked yesterday about how there's no actual evidence of this. We also now have a Supreme Court decision that is extraordinarily disturbing. The Associated Press reports Supreme Court's conservative justices leave in place Virginia's purge of voter registrations. Voter registration purge okayed. The article writes that the Supreme Court's conservative majority Wednesday left in place Virginia's purge of voter registrations that the state says is aimed at stopping people who are not U.S. citizens from voting. Remember that if you're not a U.S. citizen, you already can't register to vote, and you're not allowed to vote. One Virginian, whose registration was canceled despite living in the state her entire life, called the purge, quote, a very bad October surprise. The High Court had the three liberal justices, of course, dissenting, but regardless, the majority granted an emergency appeal from Virginia's Republican administration, led, of course, by Glenn Youngkin. They provided no rationale for action, which is typical in these emergency appeals. The justices acted on Virginia's appeal after a federal judge found that the state was illegally purging people, in this case, 1,600 specific voter registrations in the last 2 months. Federal appeals court previously allowed the judge's order to remain in effect. And now we have the Supreme Court saying, keep the purges going. Now, I don't want to come here to you today and say, sir or ma'am, the sky is falling. This is the end of the end of the end. First of all, taking a very pragmatic approach, Virginia is likely to go blue regardless of the voter purges that are going on. Virginia is unlikely to be the deciding state. It's not even considered a battleground. This is not per se about what is happening in Virginia and Virginia's outcomes. But if we are looking for any early signs of how might this Supreme Court involve itself in this election, if indeed we hear challenges from the Trump campaign that go through courts and are appealed, we are not given a lot of reason to be optimistic that this is a court that will not simply defer to Donald Trump. Now, we are, of course, trying to read into and predict how other sorts of challenges to this election might be handled by the Supreme Court. But when you look at the totality of the situation, you look at the fact that three of those justices were, after all, nominated by Donald Trump. I would love to believe, or to tell you that I believe, that the Supreme Court is a nonpartisan actor where 9 completely neutral and objective justices simply apply the law to facts. It's simply not the case. And we know this because of the groupings, as often take place when decisions are made between the liberal justices and the conservative justices, who in most cases, end up aligning within their groups and opposite the counterparts. So we know that it's not as simple as these are just objective arbiters of the law as it applies to the facts. Now, the best insurance against all of this, and I'm saying this to you, 4 days before the election, 5 days, 4 full days, and plus some change before the election. It's always too late to say, well, we've got to figure this out. It's not that we've been ignoring it for the last 2 and 4 years. It's that they do a lot of this stuff at the very last second. The best insurance here, is a victory so overwhelming that a little bit of purging here or there doesn't make a difference. That's wishful thinking, I admit, because in an election that's expected to be this close, I don't want to say 1,600 voters could make a difference, but it's not impossible. We saw 11,000 make a difference in Georgia. The second best insurance after an overwhelming victory so big that they can't make a difference with these trimming around the edges, the second best insurance, of course, is hearing from Kamala Harris that they are prepared and that they are ready. And so that's what we have to hope for, certainly. For the gentlemen in my audience, you've probably been wearing the same type of underwear for years. The sticking and rubbing that you get with the traditional underwear is just a part of your life, and you've accepted it as your fate. But it doesn't have to be if you consider sheath underwear. Our sponsor, Sheath Underwear, is uniquely designed with two special pouches in the front, keeping everything separate in their own compartment to give you extra confidence when you're out and about. These ergonomic pouches let you keep everything dry and cool, letting the air flow so you skip the sweating and the chafing that you've gotten with your regular underwear. I've seen so many people skeptical about Sheath at first, only to change their minds once they try it for the first time. As soon as you put these on, you realize what you've been missing out on all these years, a new level of ergonomic comfort and breathability you didn't even know was possible. Try it once before you make up your mind. Sheath is giving my audience 20% off with the code PACMAN. Go to sheathunderwear.com/PACMAN. The link is down below.